Hello my dear friends, and today we're gonna have the second part of our lesson, totally dedicated to perspective and perspective of the breach. And if you saw the beginning, and I show you a few inspirational pictures, and we were talking about how to actually line up the perspective between two parts of the breach, and how to find the right points for your perspective. One more time, I just want to show you the way how it's supposed to be created. And this is the main lines in the middle of the breach. So just to refresh your memory, and I just wanna start with colors right now. As I told you, the good idea was to clean up your drawing part before you start with the colors, and that's exactly what I did. This is my breach, which is we were drawing together in the first part. And all I just left is the lines, which is gonna help me to keep my picture in the right track, and help me to start with the colors. So I clean up my drawing. I'm ready. I open my containers, as I always tell you, to open all of them, so that's gonna help you to pick up the right color. And I do have my palette, and I have my set of brushes ready to go, and I also have my water, and that's basically what I need. And of course my easel, or if you use just a smaller easel, I have a big one, so but I use the small one just to put my picture in the front of me. I have lights just in case if I need, so I have my extra light, but for now it's enough light, so I don't have to have it. So I also have my picture, as I told you that I need the picture, or I have to go and paint the bridge from the nature, which is called plein air. So basically that's my ingredients, and of course I need a napkin to wipe my brushes. So first thing that I'm gonna start my work with, it's gonna be the sky. I like to start with the sky for the landscapes, because the sky actually help you to get the right background and set up the mood, set up the right lightning, and set up the right condition for the weather. What kind of condition I'm gonna have? Yes, of course I'm gonna have the nice, beautiful, sunny day. The reason why, because as I said to you before, this example, the Golden Gate Bridge paint by my student, the blue sky and the beautiful emerald water with the red orangey bridge will have the really nice condition, which is gonna be looks nicer than the kind of day with the grayer sky. And but of course, on the summer, for instance, the Golden Gate usually in the fog, but we're gonna take the nice beautiful day with the blue sky, just to have a better condition for our painting. For my sky, I'm gonna take the medium brush, which is this size. For this size of paper, it's gonna be appropriate. If you have the smaller or bigger painting, of course you should adjust your size of the brush for that. So I will see if I need the smaller one, I will take the smaller one, but for now I will start with this one. And for the sky, I was just gonna start with the white color, so I'll just put on my palette the white, and then I will add some lighter blue in it to make just a nice middle of the day color of the sky, and maybe a little bit darker blue, just to start from the top like we usually do. We start with the top, and this is my you always need to mix your color much more longer than it's just like put together two colors and just swing, because otherwise that's gonna happen. So it's kind of like gonna have the not mixed very well colors. So I gonna get my colors really nice mix, so then it helps. I'm gonna actually have few clouds in the sky, and I will use my pencil to set up the clouds somewhere, so it's kind of nice because usually it's windy, so it's bring few clouds on the sky that will be kind of truthful. So for, of course, for the topper part it's gonna be darker, and then I will kind of get a little bit lighter color. But you already knows that because we've done skies a few times, so it's dangerous to overpaint the bridge, especially when the color of the bridge are lighter than the sky, because that's gonna create some dirty sets of colors on it. So I don't want you to get into that. So I'll just get the smaller brush to be safe and paint around the bridge, and we'll get a little bit lighter color. I recommend you to take the color which is lighter, so then it's gonna be right tone of color. And around the bridge, just be careful, don't overpaint your bridge, and you can actually leave a little bit empty spots. We can always fix them later, it's not a problem. So I'm just using the lighter blue with white for my sky. So see, that's kind of make the difference. It's kind of make the blue warmer, even if you know that's the blue color, it's a cold color, but in that combination it's become warmer. And this is true because close to the horizon, the atmosphere kind of breathes a little bit more air, and because it's farther, it's kind of will be warm because it's little particles of the sunlight will settle there, so you can kind of see that happening on the horizon. The sky become a little bit warmer compared with the top layer when you look above yourself. So that's what we're doing right now, kind of mixing together this warmer blue with the colder blue. And just be careful when you paint around the bridge, as I said, because you don't want your bridge, which is you spend so much time to construct that using the oldest appropriate knowledge about perspective, and then you over color that, and it's going to be hard for you to bring the drawing back if it's for instance you choose to paint the darker blue sky. It goes the way how I want to, so I just need a little bit darker sky for the top areas because we want some nice contrast between the bridge and the ocean and the darker blue your sky. Of course the reflection will be darker, and that's gonna create the very good components of your composition and color wise too. So because we use that strokes going the horizontal, that's gonna be kind of a little bit boring in case you paint with the horizontal stroke your ocean too. But don't worry about this too much because that's not important for now, because we have the main thing, it's our bridge, and we dedicate more attention to that, and we shouldn't worry too much about strokes direction. But you always, like on a second layer, you can always kind of fresh it up with the clouds going different direction, with the rocks, and some water strokes get a little bit more kind of alive. So that's gonna break that pattern, so and make your painting more alive and more breathing. So when I say breathing, I mean, of course, it's not breeze exactly, it just gives that impression. So that's the most important what I mean by this. It's just a artist, creative people slang. So, but I introduced you that because you might hear it a lot. So that's why I'm just saying that you know what exactly I mean by that, by saying that. So now I just gonna do the reflection because that's gonna get the right set for my bridge color wise. So not because I'm afraid to paint the bridge, it's just the way how I think that will be appropriate. So I keep my brush, that medium sized brush, and for the ocean I'm gonna use the green and light blue, and I will mix them together and get a little bit dark blue in this, and that's gonna create that beautiful emerald color for the ocean. It's kind of the same as I have on me wearing that color. That's the color of the marina by the Golden Gate Bridge ocean. So I will work with my horizontal strokes right now, except I will leave a little bit empty spots for actually the reflection, because I will have a little bit of reflection under the bridge, so that's kind of helped me to uh, convince everybody who look at my picture that's the water. So continue mixing my emerald colors with the strokes for the ocean. I can use the strokes kind of going more shorter than in the sky. And don't forget that the closer you come to the side of the sand part, when the ocean is get to the shore, so that's the lighter my ocean should be. So because it's kind of has that translucence of the sand or rocks inside. So in my case, that's gonna be the sandy beach there. So I'm gonna make the lighter colors for this part, and the darker colors goes farther closer to the beach and the other side of the surface of the other side of the surface of the bridge. So over there will be like a darker color for the ocean. And this is my ocean color. So I'm trying to get like more interesting strokes in that. So this is not gonna be too similar as the sky, but it's not gonna be like that because it has the darker colors anyway. And I was just gonna use a little bit of black in my mix with the darker blue and a little bit more green, so I want to just get like a little bit darker shade for that other side of the bridge over there. So it's kind of like the more deeper ocean part there. So and kind of create the right shade of the ocean there. And of course the part of the marina here for the beach, it's gonna be just a sandy color, and I use my brown and ecru and a little bit of orange for that. So this is my sandy color. You know that we already work on this kind of color for the side of the ocean, or if you have a river bank, so you can take a look and see what exactly will be there. So it might be more browny, or it might be rocks, so it's going to be kind of grayish. So it depends on what you have on your nature when you gonna go and paint your bridge. It might be a little bit different compared with my side of the bridge. So whatever I have here right now, I'm just working from the photography, and I'm not doing exactly from nature, so that's why I'm kind of trying to create the right condition for the weather and right condition for the kind of geographically right composition, but it's not exactly because I'm not there, of course. So but what you have, that's what you have, and that's why I'm saying I recommend you to go there and see exactly. Even if you make a picture and come back home and start working on it, will be better, because then you don't have that question when you start working. What kind of color I have for my banks, what I have for my beach. With that questions, you can just get prepared and make a picture first, or just go there on a plein air and set up your easel and just work. If it's the nice weather, will be really pleasant. If the weather is not that great, I do not recommend you to stay too long, so I don't want you to get cold. Make a picture and finish at home. So that's always the option. All the time, artists, they don't have that luxury. They have to come back to plein air and wait for the same condition of the weather, and then they can continue working on their work, their landscape. But in the modern world of technology, you can just make a picture and then continue working on it. So you can even print it out on your printer and make sure that you get the better size, so then you can easily see what you have on the picture. So, and that helps a lot too, of course. But nature always more pleasant when you work on nature. Then it's kind of set up your mood and give you more details. So that helps a lot. But if you unfortunately cannot do it, so that's not a problem. So you can just finish with your picture on your phone or professional camera, and then get the printout. Or if you want to just use your cell phone, you can do it too. So but sometimes it's not very convenient, because you can't keep the picture all the time, because somebody can call you. So it's just too many hassles. So better just to print it out. So now I'm kind of getting my color for the some rocky mountains there. So, and I'm kind of using the purple for that, and a little bit of blue. So same as we used when we were working on the mountains. So that's just gonna be preset color for me right now. Not like really gonna work on details, because that's my color just for the background right now. So then I can work with details later. So of course the mountains and hills so far away, they will be not that bright. So because they, especially by the water, it's always some kind of little particles of the water in air. So and it's gonna be kind of fuzzy. So you whatever colors you use for that far away hills, they all will be kind of more have tendency, even when the day is sunny, they will be more colder shades. And so you use your purple color for that, kind of mix with blue, and use a little bit of white just to show that it's far away. So this is my color for now for that part of the rocks there. And I always can put more details in that, but for now it just kind of like I said, it's just set up the mood and the right colors for that side of the breach. So everything which is there kind of more airy and lighter, so then you kind of set it this way, so then you don't have to later use another layer to make it lighter. It's gonna be lighter anyway with acrylics, but still just be careful, don't over color this with the brighter colors, because it's just gonna kind of ruin your perspective. Because we still have to keep in our mind that the not only perspective of the breach, but the perspective of the color shades will help you to deliver that composition and show your family members and people who will look at your work that you are actually familiar with the perspective. And as we spoke about this before, the perspective, I told you, I kind of used that uh, verb that saying spoke about, because I'm assuming that we have the communication going, what I told, so, and you were listening. But I think that you kind of think about this later. I'm assuming that you are kind of digesting that after video, and you make this information yourself by painting and see actually that happening on your work. So the more particular you're about the perspective and how it works in your painting, then you make it more right for you, and to make it more kind of convincing for the people who look at your picture, what exactly the perspective means for you, and how that deliver your knowledge and help you to actually fix your composition in the right way. So that's exactly what we need. So that's what we learn, because when you actually learn to paint, that's what you learn. You learn to do it the appropriate way. It's not the rules which is I set up, it's just the rules which is had been set up long time ago. Even I show you some paintings before, all these works are done assuming that they know their perspective. And in 15th century, Dürer actually worked a lot. It's a German artist who work a lot on creating the perspective knowledge and deliver that knowledge to the fellow artists. So, and it really helps when you know that, then it's kind of illuminate questions about how I will do it, how to show that, because we the constantly in war on our painting with the trying to create the 3D image with only 2D, just our white paper. And the perspective, it's a trick, as we were talking about, to help you to show how this composition on your work will lie out. So that's what the actually perspective do. It helps you to get the right layout for your composition and help you to deliver your impression about nature. So talking about this, I'm kind of finishing my background for the picture and setting the right colors for the background and even front. That's my rocks and some hills behind. And now I'm kind of ready for, I believe so, for my bridge. And for the bridge, I'm gonna use the smaller brush because I don't want to ruin the composition with the bigger brush, so the smaller brush will help. So so this brush I was gonna settle on the side, and I will get my smaller brush and I will start the bridge. Bridge will be kind of orangey color with the red, because my sun kind of the light comes from this direction. So that's what I'm gonna do. I will mix some color from red and darker red, and some even a little bit of purple, just to get that deeper red color for my bridge, to the darker part of the bridge. So because I want to start with the darker parts and then put some highlights on the parts which is light up by the sun. So this is my colored kind of a little bit has tendency have more burgundy in that. So, and I will start with the darker part, the shadow part, and this is gonna be on that side of the bridge, which is kind of on the other side, not only the ocean side, but it's also other side of the bridge. So that's my darker. And also in the arches, because arches, they kind of have the darker color too. So this is my darker parts of the bridge, and that just helped me to get the contour. The contour is just the kind of highlights of the bridge. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna have now the orange color for my lighter parts of the bridge. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna kind of place that in a place where definitely has the lighter colors, and then I will see according by the light where else I need that color. So, and when you work on your bridge, just be careful, as I said, with the colors, because you don't want to ruin your drawing, because it will be hard to restore it when you already start painting. So just be careful. That's the reason why I use the smaller brush, so that I am not gonna ruin my work. And that's important, because you already spent energy on that and hoping for the good results, so you don't want to spoil it. So, and then like when you already have the darker part, it's easy to kind of get the right shape for your bridge. So because it's create in these shapes, it's create the composition of the bridge in the way how it's lay out. And you basically not only coloring, but you also shape the bridge is the construction too. So because the light and shadows, that's what in painting shape your construction. So drawing, it's put the base on it, and then you just shaping it up by using the right shades of color. And just like that, from this two colors, we're already getting the shape of bridge. And when we will do more details, that's gonna kind of settle together and give us the right composition. So for details, I'm just gonna change even smaller brush for myself, because then it's gonna be easier to operate with that. And now when I get my all basic contour of the bridge ready, I will just do the highlights just to show the lights coming from the sun. And as we can see on the picture, it comes from that direction. So that's the part which is going to be more exposed to sun, will be right on the front. So I have to mix the lighter orangey color to highlight that part of the bridge, which is will help us to show the kind of the right way, appropriate way to see the all the lightning comes on a particular surface of the parts of the bridge. It sounds complicated, but it's not really. When you kind of think about what the lights do, it's even shows the light on our face particular way. When we were working on our portraits, so we were talking about this, how light kind of landed on our face structure, and how it's showing actually the right parts lighter, some parts darker, some parts lighter. So same thing happens with the any objects we are working on. Depends on the light. That's how the actually the color will lay out on our parts of the particular object. So this after when we talk about this, I will just show you exactly what I do. I just get that lighter orangey color on that surfaces, which is gonna be exposed more to sun. And we will kind of anticipate the some parts after that become lighter when they dry, and that's what we're gonna get. So I like kind of that color, that orangey color on our front structure, so that will be the right shade. And I also just gonna kind of clean the surface for the bridge, so make it more right by the according by the drawing we have. So, and that helps to shape up the bridge. Your drawing, like your pencil drawing, if it's kind of stand up a little bit, that's okay, because we are learning, so that's fine to show that you actually did the preparation and made the drawing of your bridge first. So that's actually something which is you can leave on your work to show how hard you were working with actually creating the shape of this bridge. Color with the same color too, that's not gonna show us the actually the bridge being somewhere in a particular environment. That's what we are trying to do when we actually using the different shades of color on the surface of the bridge, because we want to kind of fit in this bridge into particular environment condition. And the condition of the day, as I said, it's a bright sunny day, and that's what we choose for our picture to make it more interesting, because as I said, on the front of the bright blue sky and a nice emerald see-through beautiful ocean color, so that will kind of highlight the color of the bridge, which is, I think that will work as a benefit to the bridge, because it's gonna show all beauty. If we take the picture or paint the bridge in foggy weather, we're just gonna see the part of this bridge, and this happens there because that's how the microclimate of San Francisco it is. So sometimes it just covers like half of the bridge with the fog in the summer time. So but we are trying to deliver the whole image of the bridge, because we're working on our perspective task. Next, after that, I will work on the shadows of the bridge, but before I do that, I will actually let the bridge dry, and we'll work on the background just to kind of finish with the sky, and that's gonna help us to get the right highlights for the bridge. So and especially in between of the segments of the bridge, so then we can work on the shadows inside that arches. And I think I will use the medium size of the brush for that. And I will just mix that blue color I use for that. So nothing new, the similar colors. So just a little bit extra white and plus the blue. And so that nice blue color will help us to work on the bridge gaps for the sky. Like I always tell you, just don't leave the white spots. Try to cover your empty spots in the picture, because that's kind of give the nicer look to your work, more accomplished look. And believe it or not, but that's actually helps to create the right image. So of purple for the upper layers, just to add some coldness to the sky. Because the warmer sky will be close to the horizon. And here somewhere on the top there should be more darker. And for this work, I kind of encourage you to not hurry because you will think that, oh, you know how to do the blue sky. We've done this so many times. So here we go. I will do it. And as soon as you will be so confident, you kind of like overpaint something or get the wrong shade. So I think that for this work, because you already worked so hard on getting the perspective of the bridge right, so just try to not spoil that with the wrong color somewhere, or cover the bridge in the wrong spot, because when you will be too confident, that might happen. So I don't want you to be not confident enough, just don't get me wrong, but I want you to be careful with your painting, with the familiar parts of your painting, because I know that you will be clear background for your work, and not more than that. And you should treat it this way. So be careful, as I said, just do not overpaint on the main parts of the bridge, and bridge with the colors. And as you can see, I get the lighter blue in the free gaps on the bridge, so that it's actually still belong to particular environment, and not only just some frame insert, right? So keep that in your mind. So closer to the heels, I will get like very light blue. And that light blue will help you to kind of get that breezy air. Even like the wider river, you can notice same, or bigger lakes like Lake Tahoe. When I go to Lake Tahoe, I can see that, especially in a nice sunny day. So the other side of the lake will be kind of blurry, so that's normal. And like I said, by the heels, it should be like very light, very light. If you really like need to work closer to the bridge, it's okay to kind of get on the bridge with like few strokes, because that's kind of gonna blend in the borders. So it's okay, but not too much. Of course, just try to keep the bridge clear from the extra strokes of blue. Blue lighter, so you can go over that, but still it's better just to be more disciplined in that point and don't go over a lot. So it's just good for your practice. Anyway, think that I can, since I already have my blue and white colors, so I'm just gonna finish with my clouds. I will use some ecru and white and tiny bit of yellow for that. So that's gonna create this kind of color, like a warm white, I can tell. And this is gonna be our clouds color. And the cloud clouds, they in nature they have shapes, kind of very unique shapes. So when you work on your cloud, you try to not just make some awkward shape. Just try to, if you don't have any example, just try to create something more natural. Not, don't go with the weirder shape. Just give like a very light cloudy shape. Don't put too many clouds. So like a few of them will be good enough. And don't make them all the same shapes. All the kind of has the variety of shapes. The color of the sky and the color of the cloud, that kind of show the translucence of the sky, and of course the shape of the cloud kind of will be embraced into that air. And don't be afraid, like kind of play with the shape a little bit if it's not exactly the shape of something which is you can see in front of you. It's fine, because as you can see and notice how fast clouds actually changing their shapes, you can be blamed for, like, making your own shape of the cloud, because this is what happens. They just change shapes like very, very, very fast, and it may be kind of broken, so like a little piece can go one side and all of a sudden it's connected to another cloud or something like that. And this is actually bright because the sunshine highlight that part. So right over here and over here, particular place, and create the perspective of that place. So these rocks on the front, they will be more intense. So it's gonna use a little bit black and purple, and a little bit of blue, dark blue. So this is gonna be my color. This one. So it's not black, purple, and dark blue. So this is just for the rocks on the front. So that they create the appropriate right shade. So in the more intense color for the front will kind of help us to get the right perspective layers for your work. Because colors, they help to get the perspective happens actually on your picture, because the way how you know what particular shade you have to apply for your objects, that helps to figure it out where the object compare to the horizon, and what intensity of the color you use to show that. So this all together creating that unique image. Because of the sunshine that rocks on the front, they're of course gonna have some highlights. It's just way how it is. Over there by the bridge. So right here. Okay. And the rest of it will be the ocean. Yeah. And so I can brush. And it can be dark by the other side of the bridge because it's kind of the deeper waters there compared with the front. Of course, not too dark, but kind of dark enough. That's kind of for highlight the ocean a little bit and get the appropriate colors coordination on your work. And closer to the beach over here will be the lighter colors, so don't forget to change the shade of your color for the closer to the beach parts. And of course in the front will be some foam, and the foam it's very light color, almost white, so it's not gonna be like the empty spot, but it's just gonna be some water foam. Usually you can notice that spot kind of comes closer to the shore. And I think that I can get some highlight for the other side with the light blue. So because it's kind of same both sides. I'm just gonna leave it for now like that, and then I will work a little bit on my shapes of the bridge, which is most important part. So I'm gonna get some darker spots on bridge. So we'll use my purple, a little bit of black, and the blue, like all my dark colors, and red. Create some dark burgundy color, almost brown but more reddish brown. And with the small brush I will kind of get my colors just right on the tip of the brush, and give yourself support so then when you work on it you kind of have support for your hand. And then we're gonna do, I can use your pinky for support for your hand, and they will help you to accomplish that task, the highlights with the shadows. And get just enough color, because if you get too much it will be too thick. If you get not enough you're not gonna be able to do it. That highlights will organize the shape of the bridge. And it's create that arch, because arch of this bridge it's actually the most recognizable part of this bridge. So you just do the half of the arch because the other half will be the light part. So because the light from the sun will color that in two shades. And because this part is underneath the bridge, so it's all going to be in darker shade. But the acrylic colors, they dry so fast, so you have to like really pay attention and get the right amount of color on your brush and have yourself support for your hand. And the bridge kind of goes in a perspective into that heel, so we can kind of get this disappear over there. That will be the right thing anyway. And now we have to get the shades, the darker shades on that part of the page. It's later. So now it's the hardest part. You get like really tiny brush, as tiny as you can get, for little details, like for instance that cables I'm gonna paint right now. So and you have to really carefully kind of follow your drawing. And the front ones will be more highlighted, so they're gonna have like a nice bright orange color on them. Part will be this part, which is continuing on this side. And just keep going. When they double screen each other, so it's kind of will be doubled when the voice goes to the picture over here. But I kind of dare you from showing every cable because that's gonna be very tedious to do, and it's not necessary because this is not the photography, and like I said, what you accomplished is not exactly the cables or the nature condition. It's just kind of rest your hand on your knee, and that will help you to kind of finish and accomplish that cable part if you have the bridge with cables. But if you don't, it's good for you. So you don't have to work on this very hard. So, but since I have this cable, so I just gonna finish as much as I could, of course. So just kind of do it because it's there. Same. So don't make it too dark. And again, try to get as much color as you need. And don't take too much. just to show 3D of the cable to and the bridge has some extra details, so you want just put some details closer to you, so because that's kind of work for perspective better. Shade color on the farther side over there, so it's gonna give me that deepness of the ocean. Get that beautiful shade of water as I need. And that's the most beauty of this weather condition for painting the bridge, when it's just like that. That's the emerald beauty of the water and red orangey color of the bridge, and the beautiful blue sky. That's what we like in Bay Area. Believe it or not, when the weather is so beautiful, a lot of people just come to the ocean, and some of them, as I said, go for the yacht ride, and some of them just enjoy walking by the beach. And we have few beaches. You can go to Marina, you can go to the Chinese beach, and Baker Beach, and it's few more among the beautiful shores by the beach, and you can see that from the beautiful museum literal corner. They have the view on the beach, so it's a few spots that you can really enjoy the view, but we choose the close by, which is the Baker Beach, and that's almost next to the ocean. We're gonna keep them that airy, so kind of good color for that side of the bridge. Yeah. So that helps too. And just like that, we get like so close to the end. Because as I said, I don't want to like really overdo the landscape, because that's not what was the task for us. And this is all just support kind of side for our composition, just to highlight the bridge. And I think like this we're just gonna finish, because I don't want to over detail that work, since we had that very hard work to create the perspective of the bridge, and I just want to show you the final result. And I wish you a lot of beautiful moment in the plein air painting a bridge. Don't forget about the right perspective. Watch one more time both videos, that you can get the whole idea about how to construct the bridge and put it in the right perspective. And see you in the next lesson. Have a wonderful creative time.